Waiting for the encoding server to claim the video. Cue intro. Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show. And I've got an echo I need to fix. Okay, got it fixed. Sorry about that, guys. And today we're going to be talking about, and I can't leave my video on long because it is staggering real bad, as well. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I can tell on my side. But I did just want to let you know I'm still here. Yeah. All right, let me go ahead and turn that back off, because that's going to potentially mess up, well, the broadcast. So, but today we're going to talk about what I've called the Great Reset Death Spiral. And I've put together some spreadsheets so that we can kind of take a look at that. And what I want to know, well, among other things and many things, I want to know, is it possible to reduce the population of our world? Say, let's pretend that there's 8 billion people, and we want to reduce that population to 500 million. Those numbers might sound familiar to some of you, Georgia Guidestones. And I want to know, is it possible, and how long would it take, and could you do it in just a relatively short period of time? So we're going to be looking at that and trying to determine that. We also are going to be running the poll again today for the winner of the tinfoil hat contest for the viewers. That will be done today. And for the rest of us, the crew here, the team, we're going to do ours on Friday. Okay, but we're going to run one more poll today for the participants that of y'all guys, the viewers that participated, and then off of those 2 votes, from the one from Friday and the one from today, the winner will be identified. But as Shannon said the other day, since we have a fairly low number of people who are participating or competing, you might say, all of you are going to win something for sure. Matter of fact, I know for a fact that I've got several of the anointing oils sitting right here in front of me. I have enough to give everybody one. So I will be doing that. And, well, before we get to all the information about the Great Reset Death Spiral, let's see who we got here with us today. Shannon was unable to be here. She's taking care of some family things, and but she's probably listening in or something, and we love Shannon, so we miss her, and she'll be back, I'm sure, on maybe as soon as tomorrow with Roxy on the Roxy Files. And guess what? We have Roxy here with
hey.
The Roxy Files. The Roxy Files on YouTube and the RoxyFiles.com as well. And Roxy and I, before the show you can catch us on the website, TheSupernatural.Show, TheSupernatural.Show, in the Beyond the Veil pre-show area, where we're in there getting ready to go live, talking, and we were getting carried away on the conversation, so we had to stop ourselves about the topic today. Yeah, we're available even before the show. If y'all guys want to drop into the pre-show area on the website, you can see and hear everything, and even chat if you want to with us. We also have Miss Kim here with us. She's in the background as in the co-director and helping us out with moderation and saying hello to y'all guys also in the chat. And of course, we've got Super Mike here, and I haven't been watching every chat, but I'm assuming probably Super Dave is here as well. Mike Smith and Super Dave, our supernatural moderators, and we are grateful to have them here with us today too. So, Roxy, what do you think about the subject matter at hand?
They've been doing it for years.
Years, or you mean centuries?
Yeah, centuries. They've been reducing us, and they've been going hard at it since the 40s.
Mm-hmm. For this cycle, yeah. They started likely, you really could probably go back even to, you could probably go back all the way past that even, say, you could think that there might have been a period where depopulation wasn't necessarily the goal, but maybe it was dumbing us down or other potential goals, because when you can talk people to talk them into letting a snake bite them, like around the 1918 area, because that's what they did back then, if you recall, is they let the they talked to people into believing that there was something floating around in the air that was going to kill them. And they needed to get a snake bite in the arm in order to save them. Now, that sounds completely ridiculous, but they did it. And then they were using that as the cover story for their the rollout of radiation broadcasting, aka radio. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, the rollout of radio and the frequencies, when they altered the frequencies with these different rollouts of different types of broadcasting, whether it be for weather radar, or whether it be for television, or whether it be for military communication, whether it be for nowadays, it's cellular communication, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
But they, every time they roll out those things, we tend to have something called a VIR happen. And they claim that it's making people sick, but what they're doing is it's a cover story. If you go on the website, right down here, inside of the little pay-per-view window here, you can make a $5 donation and you can watch Operation Radiation 3.0. And I promise you, if you come here and watch this right here, if you don't get your $5 worth, email me and ask me for it back, and I'll give it to you. Plus, you can also download this. This is not something that can be played on YouTube unless you want your channel gone. Because ask me how I know. Because I lost a channel over it in the past. And that was 2 renditions of it before. Now it's way better. It's on the 3rd rendition of it, Operation Radiation 3.0. So it's $5, and that's a donation, and you can download it and share it with your friends, send it to whoever you want. I wouldn't recommend uploading it to your YouTube channel, though, if you want to keep that YouTube channel. But that is available on the website to explain to you how they did that. But specifically today, but related, let's talk about the current, obvious for anyone to see that's paying any attention at all, reset. Where do you think we should start, Roxy?
Deep subject. I don't know where you want to start. My major investigation starts in the 1700s.
1700s.
1771.
Why do you say that?
Up until the 1700s, your cartographers who were making maps, their actual references to Tartar, which would be Tartarian.
Huh?
Then you have 1776, which just happens to be a big day over here, right around that area. And then I time mine back to all of these huge buildings made out of granite in America that say founded, not built. Founded means you found the building and repurposed it, which means that those buildings were there much longer than we've been here as Americans. Not to say it's humans, just as Americans. And when you tie all those together, you come up with about 250 years of a great reset.
Mm-hmm.
And it leads into Tartaria and Cabbage Patch Kids and buildings that have absolutely no way that we build them. These buildings that are built, one in particular, the Biltmore State, North Carolina, we don't have the tools to build that today. And we do, but not in the time frame that they said back then. You're talking about a time in history when supposedly we had horses and carts. So you're going to tell me up in the middle of a mountain range, they built a stone castle with completely identical granite artwork as a border all the way around it, it's impossible.
You remember the name of that place?
What, the Biltmore Estate?
Biltmore Estate. Okay. Biltmore. Not Giltmore. Biltmore. Should be Giltmore.
I took a big dive down art history. I was all the way back at Michelangelo and Da Vinci and The Last Supper and things of that nature, because in the past, people could not read or write. It wasn't a common thing. Just like the Bible, the Geneva Bible, there was not one of those in every home. When King James changed the Bible, everybody had a Geneva Bible. He edited the Bible, and the company that made the Geneva Bible, people still wanted them. They were told after 1600 that they would be no longer allowed to produce their version of the Bible. It would be the King James Version only. So if you happen to run across a Geneva Bible in an antique shop somewhere and it says $15.99 in it, you have a treasure, because they lied on the publication date so they could continue to produce their Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That was going on in the 1600s.
Answer me something that you mentioned, and we kind of started to touch, but then we stopped ourselves. Why is it that even if you go back, let's see, 60, 70 years, even that early, or not that early, that's pretty recent, is really what I'm saying. Why is it that people did not know how to read? Why was everybody so uneducated, or shall we say ignorant? Because ignorance just simply means you don't know.
Well, let me give you a current reference to that. How many school children can read cursive?
Mm-hmm.
What are all your important historical documents written in? Cursive. Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
Ring a bell? Cursive.
Yep.
If you don't teach the children to read cursive, they can never go back to the original document and understand it. Just like us with Sanskrit. I can't read Sanskrit. Not that I wouldn't love to. Maybe that's a side note. I should go down and learn how to read it. But I can't read Sanskrit. And most school-age children can't read cursive. If you don't give people access to the information, they don't know what the world really is. Prior to the internet, pre-Google, that's what I call my generation, pre-Google. Back in those days, most people couldn't read. And sometimes they were taught to read. A lot of times it depended upon the family and the wealth and where you're at in life. But if people can't read, they can't go through the documents to prove that you're lying.
Now, how is it that people become not able to read? Because how many languages have there been in this world? How many written languages? Sanskrit, Egyptian, hieroglyphy. You've got, Greek. You've got Hebrew. You've got all these written languages. How is it that a society comes to a point where they cannot read? I mean, you would think that over time things would just get better and better and people would get smarter and smarter, but it seems like somehow we've been intentionally reset. Not just once, not just now, but in the past. My opinion is that they want to be like the Most High. They want to be like God. So they know that God, that our Father in heaven chooses for his his reasons to reset the world on occasion. Like we've read about the flood and a number of other ones that you can find, where it hints at a complete reset. But knowing they want to be like the Most High, of course, they're going to do resets. And it seems like to me that they do them over and over in order to keep the populace overall ignorant. Doesn't mean they're stupid, because the reason they have to keep doing the resets is because the people get smarter and smarter and smarter. I've been doing research as some of y'all guys know, on a great grandfather of mine that came out of London and came into he come into northern Georgia to start with, right close to the border of South Carolina. I don't know if those terms even existed back then, but they then ultimately moved to Charleston. And doing the research back then on what they were doing and what they were up to, they had, it appears, very high level of knowledge, especially Daniel. His name was Daniel Alexander Cannon, the same as mine. And it seems like they had a great knowledge for building, engineering, math, reading, of course. And, but what happened? Why is it that was in the 1700s? And then all of a sudden...
I can give you a reference from today, 45 minutes ago. I can tell you how prevalent this is now. Does anybody out there know what the Montessori school is? And if you don't, it is a charter school. There's many of them. They go by different names. Montessori is just one of them. You see all these charter schools that are set up. All these people who are elected into politics or are famous or have any kind of money or power, you do realize their children do not go to public school. They go to private schools, to charter schools. They are taught a whole different curriculum than our children are taught. By the time they're in 8th grade in these Montessori and these charter schools and private schools, by the time they're in the 8th grade, they're taught what the stock market is, how to set up a living trust, how to make sure that generational wealth happens in your family, how to use the tax system to your advantage to make money and pay no taxes. Our children are not taught that. That's not by happenstance. That's on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give the peasant the information to become the king. That's the way their mentality has always been, that peasants don't need that information. Don't teach it to them. This is one of the reasons that reading was not a big thing back in homes back in the day when there were peasants and they lived in the forest. First off, people didn't run across to other people on the regular back then. You know what I mean? It's not like it is now. I think back when we were in school in the 80s, we didn't know anything about Russia or Asia or anywhere else unless it was in an encyclopedia or you saw a movie about it. So the image that was set in your brain as to what that land or that country or their customs or their rulers was set exactly by what you read in an encyclopedia or a textbook. The invention of the internet for us to be able to reach out and look and communicate with others on other continents was quickly restricted by IP address. Go to one of your social medias, especially TikTok, go up at the top, search World Talk, Russia Talk, China Talk. We're behind, folks. The cars in China fly. This is on purpose. Our government, our people have constrained and pushed and restricted us until our technology is lagging way behind what other countries have.
Telling us that we're the greatest nation in the world, that we're the land of the free, and all this propaganda to keep you docile, basically, while other places...
To keep you in line.
Yeah. Other places are not even what they told you, for one. And like China and Dubai and a lot of places have flying cars and like the Jetsons.
The subway stations in China, you know, the ones in New York, they got big rats and homeless and people doing the fentanyl bin.
Uh-huh.
The ones in China look like a 5-star resort.
Mm-hmm.
The airports in China look like 5-star resorts. Like the excessive, I guess you'd say, consumerism that we live under, that everything is disposable because we buy all that crap from other countries. I actually worked for some Chinese people one time, and she was showing me their video back home. Now here in Myrtle Beach, they lived in a nice 2-story, house in a subdivision. We're talking $500,000, $750,000 home in a subdivision right there off the Intercoastal Waterway. To them, that house, now this house hadn't been built but a couple of years when they bought it because all that area had just developed. But to them, that house looked like it was built in the 40s. Like it had none of the amenities and things that they have over in China. Over there, they take an apartment size room and it's a multifunctional room. Things come in and out of the wall, the room changes. They take an eighth of the square footage and do 10 times as much as we do in a home. It's crazy. Our whole technology of not only gadgets and information and medicine, but just information and knowledge and what we've been taught is so far behind other countries. And it's all on purpose. It's all for control. They don't want you to learn the truth.
No, they sure don't. So let's look at the spreadsheet here and see how easy or difficult. Yeah, I see you making the comments from Beyond the Veil. You just ain't logged in, so I don't know who you are. You got to get logged in. Because I don't know if I'm talking to one person or two or three or 10. So you guys got to get logged in when you're commenting from Beyond the Veil. But thank you for watching there, though. I do appreciate it. So you're looking at a chart on screen here. But real quick before we do that, I want to mention again that we've got the tinfoil hat contest that is finishing up the voting today. The poll is live in the chat right now. This is Cindy C. This is her hat that she manufactured about an airplane, and looks really cool. That's Cindy C. So you see her name down there. And we also have, let's see here, Vivid S. Okay, we've got Vivid's tinfoil hat that she made as well. And so when you see Vivid S down there, you know which hat we're talking about there. And let me show this one other version of her hat. And then we also have Super Dave in the list, as you can see. And let me pull up Super Dave's Pics. Here's Super Dave's. And here's another one of Super Dave wearing his with the spinner on top. And so y'all guys, you vote today, and I'll add all those votes together for the final that I'll announce here at the end of the show as to who won the viewer contest for the tinfoil hat contest. And then Friday, we're going to start looking at the team here and the hats that were built by some of the team members. Okay. And this is an example. This is, as you can see, it says the Roxy Files right under the little hat right here. And you can see Roxy's signature on the table. So I'm assuming this must be Roxy's or one of Roxy's, because I think she made more than one. But we'll do that one on Friday. We'll get the viewer one out, and Shannon should be back by Friday too. I'd like it if she was here when we did that for us. And like I say, everybody's going to win something. I know for sure that everybody's going to get an anointing oil, brand new, still in the bottle. It's frankincense and olive oil, pure olive oil, unfiltered, in these little bottles that I've got. They're brand new, still sealed, and I'll be getting those out to everybody that was in the contest, along with other prizes, like whoever wins today gets an 88 book Ethiopian Bible in hardback. Yeah. And several other prizes as well. So, all right. So now let's look at our chart here. As you can see, we've got, what I'm doing is I put in 8 billion people. Okay. And that's approximately the number that they claim there are in the, how many people there are in the world. I don't know, but we don't know. So we'll go with 8 billion. And then they claimed, according to the Georgia Guidestones, that they wanted to reduce it, as you can see here, to 500 million. Okay. And I wondered, because it hit me in the middle of the night, literally at 3 a.m. this morning, the words come in my head. Imagine this in the middle of the night. You just wake up, you're half asleep, half awake, and you hear the Great Reset death spiral. This is what you hear. And you're like, oh boy, okay. So can it be done? And how long would it take? Now, these aren't going to be exact, accurate numbers, but this will give you an idea of what they can and have done in the past. And likely, I mean, it's written in stone. This was their goal. Okay. Even though these got kapluied, I doubt it changed their goal as to what they're doing. So we start out with 8 billion. They want to bring it down to 500 million. Okay. And I put in a start date of, for the beginning of the drop. I chose January 1, 1970. Obviously, it's been going on before that. But I know that I was born in 69 and my mother had 7 children. Okay. So if my mother had 7 children at that age, then women must have been still pretty fertile in general. Now we know today that it's way different. I mean, I rarely even see children anymore. I mean, I have to go see Roxy to see children, basically. If you go to the mall or go somewhere, you might, of course, I don't go to the mall, but grocery store, you might see 1 or 2, but it ain't nothing like it was before. So it's obviously in full swing. Most women are not able to have children right now. And most of it is due to the snake bites. That's a fact. Or if you think I'm wrong, prove to me what it is, and please email me logicbeforeauthority at gmail. If it ain't the snake bites, but that's a large portion of it. It's also due to other things, food, blah 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 blah. There's a million other things. Anyways, I put a start date of 1970 and an end date of 2050. The reason I chose that is because that 2050 number keeps coming up in their conversation a lot. And so I said, okay, well, what would have to happen in order to get down from 8 billion to 500 million by 2050? And, well, that's 80 years, basically 2 generations, considered to be 2 generations, 40 years per generation. Average age of a female becoming fertile, of course, it's debatable, but generally these days females will become fertile somewhere around 13 years old, somewhere in there, give or take a little bit. And if you run the numbers on this, what it comes up with is that for this to take place, that 1 in 4 couples only produce 1 child. Okay. Or if you looked at, there's different ways you could state that same statement, but basically only one couple out of 4 couples, man and woman, and you got the whole transhumanism thing right now where they're trying to teach little boys that they're girls and little girls that they're boys. And of course, that stops production pretty good too, or reproduction. There's many, many ways they went about it. Back in the 80s, they were telling us if you had sex that you were going to catch this disease or this disease or this disease. And they pushed all this stuff on us saying, protect yourself, right? Now we know all that stuff was about part of this depopulation agenda, okay? So if over a period of 80 years, if you were able to get the population where it was reduced to only producing 1 child per 4 couples, you would be able to achieve the goal. And this is kind of what it looks like here. In generation number 1, you've got 8 billion. generation number 2, if you're able to affect that generation, meaning our generation now, and really even, I mean, we're well into this generation right here. But if you're able to affect them so that only 1 out of every 4 couples produce a child, a live birth, healthy child that is able to reproduce again, that it would reduce the population in 1 generation by 75%. So you'd be down to 2 billion. Now, going into the 2nd generation, and by the time you're finished with that, you're down to, what would that be? A quarter of 2 billion. That would be you'd hit the goal, 500 million. So in 2 generations, you're able to achieve the goal of dropping the population from 800 or 8 billion down to 500 million in 80 years. Now, obviously, like I said, this is not exact. The spreadsheet isn't exact, because I could change any of these numbers and it would give a little bit different outcome. But if you just assume these numbers are even remotely close, then it's possible. I've wondered how could it be possible, but all it is get the people in the state that we're in right now. You see, I realized back around the 90s that I had a fertility problem. Not only did I have it, my ex-wife had a fertility problem too. So both of us it was very difficult to have a child. Okay. And we had to go through in vitro fertilization in order to produce a child. And then they turned around and poisoned that child on us, unfortunately. Very unfortunately. But I knew back then that something had happened. Now I know at this point what it was. It was growing up as a child, and they're requiring all of these snake bites before you can go to school. And then you go into the military, and if you're not sterile by the time you go into the military, they're pretty much going to finish you off, because they pump you with, I don't even remember how many it was, but it was a lot of vaccinations while I was in basic training, basically. And so if we look around at our neighbors, how many children do they have? How many couples don't have any children? Are we that far off of these statistics? I don't think so. And I think they've been doing this for a long time. You see, they're calling this a great reset, of course. And it's because they're going to drop the population. Well, we know what their goal is. It's 500 million. And I was thinking about it, of course, that we can see evidence that they've done it before. Like the orphan trains. You know, there's still some images out there of them hauling around a bunch of kids with no parents. Now, they may have did it in a different way, killing the parents, poisoning the parents. I don't know, because these guys are very diabolical and very evil.
Well, you can shape a child's memory of what the past was and give them a new definition of what the future is going to be, more so than an adult, because a child's mind is not fixed.
Reality is not set yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now it's just disturbing to me to know that they've done this in this world, and they're doing it over and over. They're acting as if they are God and choosing when to, okay, this population is getting too big, they're getting too smart, it's time to kill them off. Question I have is, why? I can answer this question partially for myself, but why give us the internet so that we can ultimately see and learn that they're doing this. And it kind of gives us a chance to try to stay out of its way a little bit. Is that the intent? Or are they like saying, well, let's let the ones that are really smart survive? I don't know that that's really what they want. But I don't know exactly what it is.
I don't think they thought that enough people would listen to the ones that were smart enough to dig through the right sources. The internet is so vast and so large, and it's so hard to go find the truth or to vet it, the source that it is the truth. I really don't think that they ever thought that many of us would be able to use it to the full capability of it. I think they thought it was going to be a distraction like television.
Well, I know that they can change the so-called knowledge that is available on the internet. Apparently, unless I'm out of my mind, they, call it Satan or whatever you want to call it. They've figured out how to change even books that are in writing, like the Bible. There's many verses in the Bible that, according to my memory, have changed. And so but with the internet, they can have AI just go through every website out there and just make an edit, And like Roxy pointed out earlier, people are getting the knowledge that they do have. They might go to Wikipedia and read that and assume that that's the truth, in which there may be elements of truth in Wikipedia, and there always is elements of truth, typically in things that they want us to believe in.
Well, one of the biggest editors of Wikipedia is a company founded and funded by juice boxes.
Well, of course.
They have many, many, many full-time staff that do nothing but go back and edit every single thing on Schmikipedia.
And I don't, this is a side topic, but I'll just state it in that I don't believe that the ones that call themselves the juice boxes are actually juices.
No.
I think that they are pretending to be the victim and
to use it, yes.
To use it and pretending to be the juice boxes because it's worked for them. It's worked for a long time. They've been kicked out of all these countries throughout time, but yet they always land back on top again somehow. And I suspect that's going on right now as well.
Well, you remember that children's story we were told about a big bad wolf who wore grandma's clothing and got in grandma's bed, and Little Red Riding Hood comes in with the picnic basket and is so oblivious that she doesn't even realize that that's a big bad wolf instead of her grandma. Think about that. Go a little bit deeper on that. I thought about this the other night. You've got a wolf who has infiltrated and integrated to get his way, but you have a little girl that is so disconnected and oblivious that she doesn't even realize that that's the wolf and not her grandmother.
Yep.
What does that say?
Yep. Just through deception and the molding of the mind, or the lack of molding of the mind. And I don't know, it's like the people, they call us the goyim or the cattle or whatever, but the people, they do have the ability to learn. They do have the ability to grow and be greatly successful, but the people keep getting knocked down over and over and over, and destroy their population, destroy the knowledge, feed them truth mixed with lies when strategically placed. I mean, I wish that we could figure out how to, I wish we could figure out how to stop it, but I know there's a greater answer, and I know what some of you are thinking, and yes, there obviously is that. We're here now, but we're not from here, I get it. but it still disturbs me greatly to know what they've done to me, to know what they've done to my son, my family, my brothers and sisters. And I mean, my mom had 7 children. My oldest sister had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one down had, or the oldest brother had 2 children. The other my sister had 2 children. The other brother had no children, and the other brother had 1 child. Actually had 2, but one of them was murdered via the drug war, because they control pouring the drugs into communities as well. You know, they're behind all of this terrible stuff in order to destroy the people over and over.
Well, I can tell you how integrated the juice boxes are, and people don't even see it. If you are a company in America that is owned by people from another country, like I said, I worked for a Chinese company here in America one time. They were a linen company. You know where Walkmart Pottery is. The Chinese actually own the Walkmart Pottery Company property there at the Intercoastal Waterway. But anyway, they had, and y'all can't see my air quotes, students that come in on I-9 visas. Now, our whole linen company, I was the accountant. We had 5 salesmen, the husband and the wife. We did, and we had 1 warehouse guy and a couple of delivery drivers. There were 6 Chinese students who sat out front with laptops and did not work for our company, but yet they were there on visas. At that time, didn't know what I was looking at or dealing with. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know anything about immigration or how that worked.
Uh-huh.
Now, strategically, once a quarter, there was a big fat check that was deposited in the account from the Chinese government, but didn't know what was going on back then. I left the company. I've been enlightened since then. But I'm going to take that down to gas stations for you. How many gas stations have you been in that it appears that somebody who may be related to the juice boxes is owning it or running it? Well, the way this works, when they acquire a business, especially gas stations, laundromats, car washes, those are fantastic money washing operations.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to,
like in Myrtle,
beachwear stores, restaurants.
Stores. Myrtle Beach is like the capital of money laundering on the East Coast.
Well, we just had a multi-billion-dollar bust go down here last week over some Chinese money laundering and terrorist stuff right there in Carolina Forest. But anyway, when you own one of these businesses, you can sponsor people from other countries to come in and work at your business. You have to say that, they're going to work, this is where they're going to live, blah, blah, blah. But if you are trying to legally get people into this country up under a visa, you would take businesses like that and you would open them 24 hours a day. Whether they're making money 24 hours a day or not, you have the justification that I need 2 staff members for 3 shifts. So that's 6 people per business right there at a small convenience store. Because we have one in our neighborhood. We've been watching this for a while when it first got bought out. That all of a sudden, the one I'm talking about, the one right there at the house at the farm.
Mm-hmm.
They're open 24 hours. There is nobody there at that store at 2 o'clock in the morning.
If they get business.
No, they don't.
It's like the t-shirt shops. They don't care.
Yeah, they're always out of the top drinks or the top snacks or whatever it is. They're always out. Doesn't matter whether it's beer, cigarettes, whatever. They're always
they used
out.
To sell food, and people would go to these gas stations to get food, and they made good money doing that, but they don't care. Those are like, it's all peanuts because it's a cover.
They're visa stations is what they are. It's exactly what they are.
Visa stations?
Immigration visas. I call them visa stations.
Okay. because the people
We
who own it
even
are on
noticed a
visas.
pattern. We've even noticed a pattern at that store there does. Here, about 4 years ago, when it was bought, there was a man and his wife who were obviously not from here, but they were very nice. I didn't judge them on any of that. Very nice couple. We got to know them, knew their name, knew where they were staying at. Then, bam, they were gone. 2 more rotated in. And we're like, where'd they go? Oh, they went over to the other store. Well, I've been to the other store. I stopped there just to see if it's him. They ain't there. After they're there a couple of months, and it's almost about the time they start integrating with the community and people get to know them, bam, they disappeared. There's 2 more there.
Yeah,
well, then they stopped taking both and they started switching it out for one. One of them will disappear and one will stay. And then after a little while, when the new one comes in, then that one disappears and a new one rotates in. We live in the biggest county in South Carolina.
They do this in the hotel industry too. The same people
Absolutely.
in the hotel industry because, well, there was a period of a couple of years ago where I had to stay in a hotel for 3 months straight. One step from being homeless. But what I noticed was exactly what you're saying. They rotate people.
No familiarity.
They never want people to be like because I would put it this way. I stayed at this one hotel for literally, of all that 3 months, I was there for like a month and a half. And I got to know the guy that was running it, and we became kind of chatty, friendly, and everything. And if I had any problem, he was good about taking care of it, or, if the microwave broke or anything. And they never required me, because I had been going there so much, they never required me to put a deposit up when I would re-rent a room or whatever. Let 1 month go by, or it actually was longer. It was like 6 months, or maybe even a year went by, and I went back down there to the same hotel, and they said, "Oh, he's gone." I said, "Well, we're going to spend the night here at the beach and blah, blah, blah." And I got a room, and they were like, "We need $100 deposit in cash." And I'm like, "What? I've stayed here. Look at your records. I've stayed here." "Oh, it doesn't matter. This is the new rules, and they took the deposit. I never got that deposit back. They just kept it. Actually, I did give it back because one of the viewers heard about them taking my policy, my deposit, and he gave it back to me, because that deposit money was the only money I had. It was $100. It was the only money I had to do anything while I was at that beach, spending one night. So anyways, they don't want us to get to know the people very closely, and they don't want them. And it's a psychological control game of what they're doing. And the name Patel is a lot behind a lot of these groups. Very large, organized family, you might say. And
and there's one of these guys at this store. He's been there for a while now, and this store is very close to where I'm at on the farm. So me or Willie, one or the other, is normally at that store once a day, get gas, drinks, whatever. Every day, every other day, because it is literally, you can see it from the farm. It's like having a store on the corner. Well, my daughter, Ashley, has been there a couple of times. Now, my daughter is beautiful. She's my child. Of course she is. But anyway, she's a pretty girl. He started hitting on her. And she was like, "Oh, no, no, thank you, blah, blah, blah." And kind of, it was nice and went on about it. We go in there all the time, and he asked about her. On several occasions, most of the time when you go into these convenience stores, they are sitting there on FaceTime with their wife and children who are in a whole different country. And you're sitting here hitting on my daughter. These people have no respect for women in general, much less anybody that is not of their same mindset, we'll say. We'll leave it at mindset. Go back and look at what these people think that their rights are with the female. They think it's okay to take a child at 6 years old and turn it into a spouse. Six folks. Kindergarten.
Yeah. Insane. Cindy Stinger, I see your comment here about, you believe they're getting ready for another reset? darling, we're in the midst of it. That's why nobody's having children. You might need to go back and see from the beginning of this video. It'll be rebroadcast again tonight at 8 p.m. here on this channel. But yeah, we're in the midst of it. The population, the reset began a long time ago. Okay. And it's depicted biblically with like the story of the 4 horses, also the story of the Abaddon that comes up out of the pit, and everybody gets stung, by something. And yeah, we're in the midst of it. Sorry, I didn't, but I had to respond to her. And then I see Connie saying about the 3-eye atlas, that they're calling the mothership. That's mainly YouTubers and that one guy, Avi Loeb, I think it is, that's pushing that angle. He's supposed to be from Harvard, a really smart juice box. Very well, we know that the alien invasion thing will be part of the Great Reset, yeah. And it's just a matter of which vehicle. They're already getting us warm on this Atlas 3-eye thing, but will that be the one? Will they say, oh, it's turned and it's headed towards Earth? Who knows? We'll see. Time will tell. We've done a lot of shows on that guy. So the question I guess I would have is what can we as the people now do? And like your thoughts on that, to try to defeat what they're doing against us. And really, it's very complex. Like, one, you'd have to take your children out of the education system. The Rockefeller education system, which is the free schooling that your child's getting, and they're being the babysitter for you so that you can go to work and just barely make enough money to survive. You'd have to get your children out of the schools. You'd have to get together with the other family. You'd have to come back together as a family. Stop sending your daughters and your sons off to live and go build another house,
compound
20
living.
miles away. You come together as a family, pull it all back together, compound it basically, or ranch or whatever you want to call it, and get your families back together and stop dividing. We were never meant to divide.
I have a great example of that.
Okay.
My daughter and I, she's divorced. I'm divorced, which my kids are 30, but we rented 2 mobile homes next to each other. There are so many people in our area. We have been inundated with transplants leaving the north to get away from what's going on up there in New York, New Jersey, areas like that. I understand they're retreating. I get it. It's a lot. But we have been inundated. It's screwed up our housing market down here. There's nothing to rent. So in order for us to get something big enough, we got 2 mobile homes side by side. One of these mobile homes, which is mine, was probably made in, what would you say, Danny? 70s, maybe?
70s. Yeah, because I can't even walk down the hall straight, because I'm a big guy, but my shoulders, no more wider than any other 6'2" guy. But I can't even walk down the hall straight without my shoulders bumping on the walls, because that's how they were in the 1970s. That's what I grew up in, literally. But go ahead.
Now, hers is a 90 model trailer, which is a little newer.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, wow. It was made before she was born. That's $2,600 a month, folks. $2,600 a month for 2 crappy single-wide trailers in a mobile home park, which is not a bad mobile home park. It's, we're not slotted in here trailer after trailer. It's a big area, and they're all kind of set up at different areas. Everybody's got a yard. But we decided that we were no longer going to live this struggle of everybody supposed to have their own house. So for the same amount of money, I went on the search a couple of weeks ago and decided to try to find us a way to start doing more of a compound living together. Once we put our resources back together, we have now gone from 2 crappy mobile homes in a trailer park to the governor's mansion.
Literally. Well, pretty much literally. the man that had that house built, I think you said he was the president of the
Local Coca-Cola,
Coke
yeah.
plant back in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
And so he was like one of the richest men in town, and he built this compound, a really nice compound. But it's not.
We're saving money.
Yeah, and got a lot. This place is nice.
2 crappy trailers in a trailer park to a 2-story brick home, which looks like you're pulling up to the governor's mansion. Circle drive around a pond on 7 acres.
Circle our drive all the way around. Real
garage,
brick home, 2,800 square feet. What?
That's the difference in working separately and working together. But you got to be able to work together as a family unit.
Which we know is hard, but y'all guys have got to try to do it. I realize that if your son is on heroin, it's like nearly impossible. You got to get that devil out of him first. But trying to quit, we got to quit allowing them to divide our families just because it's the normal thing to do. You send your daughter over yonder to go with this other dude, and your son goes off and moves across town or to another state. No, that's falling right into the trap.
I would rather, if you're a family out there right now, if you're a young couple and you're married and, about to have a kid, gonna have a couple of kids, whatever, the financial investment, I've got a niece. She's a single mom with 2 kids. A single wide mobile home, a brand new one, but it's a single wide mobile home. She had land that was given to her on a family area where they all stay. $108,000 for a mobile home for a single mother, which equates to a payment of $1,000 a month.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it's just insanity. But now think about, which her brother's in West Virginia, but think about if she had a sibling here and they could build. One of the marvelous things about the house that I found, it's a split level house. So the upstairs and the downstairs are almost like duplexes. I have my area, my daughter and the kids have their area. We got lucky. We are blessed. I prayed and prayed and prayed on this, and this is what came. It was the first house we looked at. Everything went fine. He even understands her occupation because that brings in some difficulties on its own. But
you were blessed, though. You got an exceptional.
1,000,000 times over.
Yeah, you got an exceptional opportunity.
And just FYI, the greenhouse is functional.
Nice.
Very nice. It's probably, I'd say it's probably a 20 by 20 greenhouse. Yeah. Jeez. You could park a car in it.
Ooh.
Shelves, roof,
that's
the whole 9 yards.
Really awesome, but it's a perfect example of that. If you pool your resources with your sons, with your daughters, get in their head and help them understand why we've got to do this. Show them this show. Take this to them and say, can you please watch this? Maybe start listening at whatever point you want, so they understand what's going on. Because young people don't know.
Miss Connie's comment, they want in dividing the family. You don't have to do this with just family. You can make family whoever you want family to be. And I know I have seen a lot of our viewers out there struggling financially, struggling with isolation, feeling like they're being alone. Go look. There are groups out there now of like-minded people who are starting the compound style living. That they'll go together, they'll buy 10, 20 acres of land and put tiny houses on it. And it's a communal project. You invest, they invest, and you're not alone. Go look into those. They are starting to spring up everywhere. Some people are really getting the idea that this separation of everybody's supposed to own a house with a picket fence, 2 cars, the American dream, that the American dream is a horror film that they gave to you.
Hey, Kevin from Australia. Hey, buddy, we would love to have you to do this. Let me show you something, Kevin. You go to TheSupernatural.Show, and if you look under the home page, I might move it to under the submissions page right here, but currently it's under the home page, and it's called the International Super Team. We are looking for people in other countries that would like to join in communicating with us on somewhat of a regular basis as to what is really going on in the other countries in the world. Okay, so there's your opportunity if you would like to become part of our international super team that we're building. And we've got 3 or 4 countries right now, and it does not hurt to have more than one in any one country as well. So don't feel like that if I say I've got somebody in the Philippines or in Japan or wherever, that I don't want another one. So anyways, I just wanted to notice he was from Australia, and I had to take a shot at that.
Well, if you there are like-minded people out there, and it doesn't just have to be your family. It can be your friends, people that you meet, groups of like-minded people. There's a lot of us out there. There's more of us out there than you think. Quite a few are still scared to speak up that they are of like mind with us. Unfortunately, I'm one of these idiots that gets on top of the local tower and starts screaming, "Look at me," because I don't care. That's just the way I was built. But they have separated our families. And one of the things, if you go back to even the 30s and the 40s in my family history on my dad's side, they were farmers. What happens on a farm? Why do you have 10 or 12 kids? Because you need farm help. Everybody had a house on the farm. The farm my granddad grew up on, there were 16 children between, 2 brothers and sisters. Those 16 children worked on that farm until they got old enough to leave and go on with their life. Once all those got to the age of, 16, 18, 20 years old, and they bailed out on the farm got smaller and smaller and smaller and had to be sold off until it's now nothing but a couple of acres in the original house. And it's sad.
And they've built it into even the way the real estate laws work, and when the father dies, the way it works, they want to split it all up, and then 2 or 3 of those want to sell it, and they want to move because they've been brainwashed into thinking that's the thing to do. And that should never happen. If anybody's got
any properties, let me give you a trick. Would you like to know why there are cemeteries on old property? Like, you go somewhere and all of a sudden, if you're out in the country, you go somewhere and there's like 10 graves in the middle of a field of nowhere. Like, why in the world is there a cemetery here? Because the law is written that if the land is a cemetery, it cannot be taken or taxed by the government.
Imagine that loophole.
Imagine that loophole. So over time, you would have a farm, it was all one big deeded plot of, let's just say, 100 acres. Well, you buried the family on it, and the government couldn't take it. But as people die, the land gets split up into smaller parcels, and A, B, C, and D get sold off, and the only thing that's left is that one little plot of land with the cemetery on it that you find in the middle of the forest somewhere. That used to be a family farm that was protected, but nobody in the family was under that awareness that the cemetery protected the land, so they started cutting it up and selling it off. Because nobody has been aware of that law. Bury your people at home. They can't take your stuff. It's a cemetery. Vanilla
cool.
Ice taught me that, folks. Vanilla Ice.
Really? We should look into that. I'm going to ponder if there's some way that I think I could help people be able to come together like that. It would be something I'd have to build into the website. Now, obviously, you need to get to know, really know people before you just go moving in with them, okay? But that's, a family, you know your family. You know how your brother is, you know how your sister is, good and bad or whatever. But especially if they woke up and they're like us, So I'll see what I can figure out when it comes to ways. Say if you live, maybe Connie lives in Georgia. Well, there's probably, I mean, I can look at the statistics on in my YouTube, and I can see that I've got 500 people in Georgia watching every month, or I can look at any state like that. So if we could divide it up by state or something like that, and put a way that anybody could communicate with the others that are in that state so that you could meet these people, even if you're just meeting them in the chat to start with, and then maybe it turns into a phone call or texting, or then maybe one day y'all get together and you have lunch somewheres and you slowly get to know each other. You never know what can come out of that. You never know. Well, guys, I think we have about rattled your ear enough today. I know Roxy's got some things going on, running around on 2 feet in the house that she needs to take care of, called family. And because her, like she would say, her and her daughter and grandchildren, they're all moving back together again because it just makes sense. And we should have never separated. But we believed and bought into the propaganda. Mainly our parents did. Our parents and our grandparents did. But they knew.
Well, and they put them in such a financial situation at the end of their lives in retirement that they start selling off land to try to survive due to lack of other options.
Yep. It's diabolical. There's no doubt about it. It's diabolical. Well, thank you, Mike, for being here. Thank you, Super Dave, even though I haven't seen you as much. I don't think.
He's been in and out.
Oh, has he? Okay. Well, thank you, Super Dave, anyways. Dave's always here helping out too. And thank you, Roxy. Thank you, Miss Kim. And thank you, Shannon. Even though you're not here, you deserve thanks anyways. And I will say this, by looking at the poll for the tinfoil hat contest, it's pretty clear that Super Dave won. Okay, from the viewer's standpoint. Super Dave won, and he did have a really cool hat. Cindy and Vivid, I believe Cindy kind of came in second and Vivid third, but you're all winners in my book. You know why? Because you participated, and because you're one of God's children. I love you, and I want you to know that all three of you are going to be getting something, and Super Dave's going to get a couple of extra special things, but you're all three going to be getting something from us. So we'll need to get your mailing addresses where we can mail these things to you at. If you happen to be watching today, send those mailing addresses to logicbeforeauthority@gmail.com. Now, obviously, Super Dave, I can get a hold of you directly. I know your number. But Cindy and Vivid, email me with your mailing addresses, logicbeforeauthority@gmail.com, and put in the subject, put tinfoil hat contest, something like that, so that way it'll stand out a little bit for me, okay? And on Friday, of course, Roxy might be going. Are you going? Y'all guys doing a show tomorrow?
Shannon and I have a show Tuesday night at 7:30 Eastern, and Thursday night 9:30 Eastern.
Okay.
Shannon and I are now doing Tuesdays and Thursday nights together.
And you're bouncing backwards and forth on the channel, but
it's on all the channels.
It's still on all of them.
Yeah. Tuesday I host, Thursday she hosts, and a lot of times Thursday will be a continuation of Tuesday's subject.
Right. And for me, I'll be back, of course, on Wednesday in one form or another. I'm currently resetting, you might say, for lack of better words, how many shows and what kind of shows I'm going to be doing. And I'll be explaining that. So there's some changes, actually improvements and additional shows that I'm going to be doing, because I've learned that if I can do 31 shows, well, actually 32 in a row, and be able to deal with it, I don't want to do that on a regular basis, but I could probably push just a little bit more, and in some ways that would work. So yeah, congratulations, Super Dave. But I'll update y'all guys on that as we go along here. got some pretty cool plans coming up. And everyone, just so you know, if you contributed to the October Superthon, I'll be in touch as well. Got some things going on there. But for now, thank you, Roxy.
Have a good evening, guys.
You know,
Hit that like and subscribe on your way out, please.
How about share this with somebody that needs some knowledge? Okay, that would help us out too, because the goal is to get the information to as many people as possible, so everybody wakes up, realizes what's going on, because we're not there yet. Y'all guys got to keep pushing, because YouTube ain't gonna do it for me. Facebook ain't gonna do it for me, or even Rumble ain't gonna do it for me, or the other 7 platforms. It's in y'all guys' hands. You have to do it if it's gonna get done, because I'm doing everything I possibly can. Okay, guys, I love you. Father in heaven loves you, and we'll see you again by Wednesday. And then Friday we'll do the contest for the team info hack contest. Bye-bye for now.